Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to the third lecture, um, third virtual lecture actually, for traffic engineering. This lecture will be for my students in IUTT, Civil Engineering Semester 6. Today we're going to talk about the traffic volume studies and regarding your field study at Ali Abdel Moghni Street at Al Tahrir, and how can we reflect our readings for the traffic volume there, and how can we use them, our hourly volume recordings, and reflect them to ADT, and how can we obtain few results and put recommendations for that particular area. So uh, we're talking about the traffic volume studies. Basically, you have been taken the number of vehicles per hour for so many hours. I guess you have taken uh, 17 hours for traffic count. How can we actually obtain our average daily traffic volume from those 17 hours? So we're going to talk about a case study, and basically, if you have uh, a street, a particular urban or rural street, and you've taken the uh, hourly volume. So your result will be, for example, 200 vehicle per hour. How can we obtain that readings to ADT? So ADT is something vehicle per day, and we still have only 4 hours. According to past studies for each country, they actually have something they call it hourly equivalent factor. So you have a table for several hours and a factor. This factor they call it HEF. This factor, if you have 1 hour count for traffic count, you multiply that with the HEF, this actually change it to ADT. And if you have so many hours, so take, for example, this from 9 to 10, and here from 11 to from 10 to 11, and here from 11 to 12. So take all of the ADT according to the hourly readings multiplied by HEF, you're gonna get the ADT based on each hour, and then you take the average, and then you kind of got the ADT. It's not accurate as you take for 1 year study. 1 year study, it's much more accurate, but we know that feasibly it's not possible. It costs a lot, and it's very, very expensive. Usually we take in the middle of the week, we call it on week, and we take it on the weekend, we call it off week. And we take for particular seasons, like in summer. Here we have a huge interruption by rainfall, هطول الأمطار, and we take it also for winter, في الشتاء. And also we take our study for special seasons like Ramadan In Ramadan, it's a very different story, especially in Yemen. It's not the same rush hours, and basically they actually they shift the working hours. Instead of 8 for the governmental organizations or ministries, it's not from 8, it's gonna be like from 10. So here we have a very different story. So we took all of these ADTs, and then we got the annual average daily traffic volume, and this the most accurate count. Is there any more accurate count other than that? Yes, we have the automatic count using cameras, and also pneumatic counters. This actually gives you a mechanical count, and it's very, very accurate, but you still need a manual count or automatic count to adjust your axle load. This is actually, this reads you gives you the readings of how many axles. So if you have a heavy truck, which is will be like that, and here we have for example dual tandem axles. So how many axles here we have? So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The mechanical count gives you that here it's 5 axles actually past the pneumatic line. And if we have a passenger car, a normal passenger car, it's gonna be like 2 axles here we have, but we don't know exactly the ratio, how many passenger cars we have, how many trucks, how many taxis, how many heavy trucks. This mechanical count never give you the difference or the ratio between the vehicle classifications. So you still need either automatic count, which is very expensive, or a manual count, which is just like what you've done at Shara Ali Abdul Mughni. So now we can go to check this case study. We have this case study for somewhere in India for students, and they actually conclude their study, and they gave you an introduction about the volume studies, and here you have definitions, and the objectives of the study is to determine of vehicle composition in traffic stream, and also to determine the service flow rate, passenger car unit, or you can call it passenger car equivalent unit, and also to estimate ADT, which is very, very important, and also to determine the distribution factor, or the directional distribution. Sometimes we call it just DF, which is the distribution factor. So if you have a highway and it's like two-way, so the ADT, it should be given for both, for this side and this side, and between them, the split, we call it distribution factor. Again, for this distribution factor, if we have Shara Ali Abdul Mughni, here we have our street, here we have our median, and here we have south to north, and here we have north to south. The total count is ADT. Sometimes it's the directional factor, or the directional factor, or the distribution, directional distribution, DD, sometimes is going to be like 50% here and 50% here. Or sometimes it's constant, like it's going to be like 60% here, and sometimes 40% here, all along, every day. Sometimes it's tidal. They call it tidal. What does it mean, tidal? In Arabic will be mad wa jazr, which means in the morning, maybe those coming in the middle of the city, so this could be like 65%. And here will be going out of the city, like the rest, 35%. But at the end of the day, when people coming back from their work to their homes, so this will be different. Here we're going to have 65%, and here 35%. So in this case, we need actually to design our lane, and the capacity of our highway is actually here need to accommodate 65%, and here to accommodate the 65%. Because if we actually design this for 35%, at the end of the day, the 65 will pass through this way, south to north, and here will be like the capacity level of service, the LOS of this highway will be actually like E or F, which is breakdown. We'll actually observe very and heavy traffic jam here. So we need to design, in this case, if we have distribution factor tidal, we need to design each way for the highest ratio. So to continue our study, and also one of the objectives to draw flow fluctuations curves. Fluctuations, it means تقلبات, which means sometimes in the morning, so it's heavy traffic, and then at 9 a.m. it's much less, up to 11 a.m. and it goes up to 2 a.m. and then it goes down. So those are the fluctuations we're talking about. The scope of the studies, you can put whatever you want. And now here we have what are the traffic volume studies, and here we're talking about the average annual daily traffic volume, which is the most accurate, and the average daily traffic volume, ADT, and peak hour volume. This peak hourly volume, it's very, very, very important, especially to design the traffic signals and to design the intersections. What is the peak hourly volume? It means if you have the traffic for 15 minutes, for example, from 9 up to 9:15, and 9:15 up to 9:30, from 9:30 up to 9:45, and from 9:45 up to 10, again from 10 up to 10:15, from 10:15 up to 10:30, and so forth and so on. If we have our readings here, for example, here we have 90 vehicles for 15 minutes. This is actually traffic flow. Why it's flow? Because it's for just 15 minutes. Here we have 90, and here we have 100, 105, 109, 106, and 800 again. So you check, and we have for the all along the for each 15 hours, we take the most consecutive hour, full hour. So starting from here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the highest 1 hour. Okay, and for between those, actually we take the highest, which is 109 vehicle per 15 minutes. How can we convert that into hourly volume times 4? And that's what you get for the peak hourly factor. So, and then you can get the factor here between them. When you take this 1.9, and again you get this hour, the peak hourly volume, you can then check what is the difference between the highest hour and the rest of the day. We're gonna check it later. So this what they mean by the peak hourly factor. It's very important when you design the traffic signal, because when we design the timing, we actually check for that. It's not very accurate nowadays, because nowadays they're designing the traffic signals to be very accurate and using sensors. The sensors guess how many vehicles actually in real time passes the intersection. So there is no need for peak hourly volume, and in those countries, developed countries actually, like UK, United States, Germany, it's a different story. Going back to our case study, so again we go here to vehicle classifications. What is the equivalent to what is our classification for vehicles? So if we have taxis or trucks or passenger cars or heavy trucks or heavy vehicles, so it's different. This is not important for now. It's not included in your study. So here we have those parameters. They are very, very useful and very, very important. Volume, demand, and capacity. Never forget those parameters. They're very, very, very important, and you need to differentiate between them. What is the volume? Volume on a road is the number of vehicles passing the measurement point during a specific time interval. And the demand is a measure of the number of vehicles or passengers or persons. The same with the volume, actually. So, waiting or desiring or desired for service in the given time of period. So, I desire to go through this highway, so this is a demand. But when I get there, actually, it's a volume. And now the capacity of the lane or of the highway in total, it's the maximum number that can reasonably or that can reasonably be expected to be served in the given time period without any break-in for the highway. So with maintaining the level of service intended for that particular highway or particular lane. So what is PCE? It's the passenger car equivalent, is essentially the impact that a mode of transport has on traffic variable such as headway, speed, density compared to a single car. So we know that the impact of a heavy truck, it's much more than a passenger car within the headway and within the speed, within the density compared to a single car. And PCU, it is a vehicle unit used for expressing highway capacity unit. This is the daily volumes. A common time interval for volumes is a day. Daily volumes are frequently used as the basis for highway planning and general observations of trends. Commonly used daily volume parameters are the average annual daily traffic volume, which is AADT, and it's the average of 24-hour counts collected every day of the year. And the average daily traffic is actually the average of 24 hour counts collected over a number of days, greater than one but less than a year. Once you're not taking the full year, it's not AADT. While taking more than a day or even one day, it's actually ADT. The less you get, the less ADT per day you get, the less accuracy you get. More days you take, more accuracy you get. This is the peak hour volume that we mentioned before as the maximum number of vehicles that pass a point on a highway during a period of 60 consecutive minutes. As we've taken before, 15 after 15 after 15 after 15, in total 60 minutes. What is vehicle classifications? It's actually with respect to the type of vehicles of cars, 2-axle trucks or 3-axle trucks, and so forth, so on. The flow rate is vehicles per 15 minutes, expanded to 1 hour. As we've taken before, that we can convert the highest 15 minutes into 1 hour. We can take it as that, and to take it like the peak of the volume. So now, how can we actually get the hourly expansion factor, HEF? It's determined by if you have the ADT here and you have a volume for particular hour. If we have each volume for each hour for 24 hours, we can get for each hour HEF. So this will be constant. It's the ADT for the entire day. It's just the summation of that 24 hours. And here we put the volume for each hour. So since we have 24 hours a day, so we're gonna get 24 factors a day. And here we have daily expansion factor. Here we have the average total of the week, the total of the week, and we actually divide that by the average volume per day. So if we count Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we put them here. So DEF will have 7 daily expansion factors. This actually will convert this. We're gonna use that again, okay? I'll go to that later. So how can we use that? If we have like a regular organization for highway and for the urban traffic, they actually they must collect the data, and they actually put the HEF as constant there. Like in the United States, they put the HEF for rural highways, and they put HEF for urban highways, and for different situations. Why that it is important, we can get from this. If I have HEF, which is hourly expansion factor, we can actually, if I have only 1 hour count, I can convert it to ADT. How is that even possible? So HEF is the factor, which actually here we have the ADT for the entire 24 hours count, and here we have a particular hour. If I put here the count from 9 to 10, this HEF will be from 9 to 10, right? So as we said that HEF's factors, they should be reserved for the for each country. So if this is given for all 24 hours for rural and urban highways, and then I just count for 1 hour, I can actually just multiply that by the factor, and I get full ADT. So if I've taken my count from 9 to 10, so I need just to go to the table to it's like a code, and go to the table and just figure it out. So you need just to search for the HEF for that particular hour, and just multiply that, and you kind of get ADT for the entire day. It's not the most accurate, but it's very, very useful. So what if I have a full day? If I have full day, I can actually multiply that like to multiply that by DEF, which is daily expansion factor, and I can get ADT for entire week. And I still have monthly MAF. If I have ADT, the average ADT for entire month, and multiply that by the MAF, I kind of get AADT. It's like the average for the entire year. According to the month I've taken, if I have the AADT for November, I take this for November. If I have that for October, I multiply that with MAF for October. And here, DEF, if I've taken my ADT on Saturday, so I use that for Saturday. I have actually 7 DEFs, different DEFs, and I have 12 different MEFs. So don't be nervous and don't be confused. We're going to get to that later. So the directional distribution, we've taken that before. And this is the method of counting volumes. We've taken that before. We have the manual observation and the automatic recording. And this is the manual. We've taken that before. And this is like portable counter. And here we have permanent. It's like for a long time you put it there. And we still have video recording and types of volume counts. We've taken that. We have cordon and screen line or screen sheets. And we have inner sections. This is especially for inner sections. We still have pedestrian volume counts, and we have periodic volume counts again. This is cordon counts, and here we have screen line counts. This is for intersections. The methodology for those students, they just take from A to B. It's just like your method, but you've taken it at a specific point, which is the same. You've taken the volume passing this through this way, and you've taken that from this. And here you have south, and here you have north, and it's just the same. So this is the number for those students. They actually stated the location, the time, all of this, even the weather, what is the method, and they've taken the count for 15 minutes. And their classification is like passenger cars in general, three-wheelers like tuk-tuk, and motorcycles, bus, and like heavy. And they have the number of vehicles, and here the PCE. So the passenger car equivalent, المعامل. If it's a passenger car, the equivalent is 1. It is tuk-tuk, three-wheelers, 0.5. Motorcycles, 0.1. Buses, I recommend to increase that, because motorcycles here are very, very confusing. And bus is like 3, and none, sorry, this is it's a mini trucks actually. It's not the heavy trucks, so they given it just 0.5 for that. And here we have the converted number of vehicles. The converted number of vehicles. This is the total, and this after we convert it by the passenger car equivalent. Because they're just taken, I have taken for 15 minutes, they times that by 4, so they got vehicle per hour. But you actually got it accurately, more accurately, by counting the entire hour, which is a very good job. So this is the final survey. So for example, if we have here the Tahrir Bridge, Sadaqa Bridge, and here we have Al Qiada. So this it's different because they're having a British system. So here we have going north to south, and here going from south to north. I need you to take in those demonstration in count. Again, the same thing. So now you can check that they actually got the hourly count, and then so check here. It's like 1800 or 1877.2 vehicle per hour. Now they're going to the table and taking the HEF. They just times it and they get ADT. How easy is that? I know that you're actually you're wondering how can you get the HEF. I'm going to give you the reference. You're gonna get just take it just exactly and directly from the United States. I know we still have no codes for that, and there is no even studies. Not now, not even before. So here the daily expansion factor. So they got the weekly. Okay, by taking the daily traffic, multiplying that by DEF, you will get vehicle per week. And you're going to take the monthly as well. I'm going to give you the reference, and there are a lot of very easy examples. They're worked out. They're ready to be actually studied by you. So here it's like checking the they're actually showing what they've got at the end of their study. And what I like is that it's the vehicle composition, how many I have car, jeep, buses, car, bus. Instead of that, I need to put heavy vehicles. It's like ديانات مجنونات قلابات كبيرة ما اعتقدش انه مشيت قادرات من هناك. Anyway, that's what you need to demonstrate. This is very easy using Excel. So and this is the directional distribution. The ADT, keep that in mind. Your ADT will be south to north plus north to south, combined together. Don't take it separately. And then compare what you've taken from south to north, from north to south, and check your directional distribution just like that. Okay? What else you need to demonstrate? Here are the recommendations. I need you to put a very, very serious recommendations for your study, which is like what are the main problems? Did it help that they actually closed the intersection and at the traffic signal in front of Abdel Nasser School? Is it even helpful there? Now they try to put a roundabout there, which is very, very crazy. I'm sorry for that, but it's very, very crazy, and it's not based on any basic study, at least basic study to be considered in that. We know that the main problem in Tahrir is the parking. There is no parking there, and there is no parking policy. I need you to put your recommendations for parking. we have a parking issue. What is the parking issue? That most of the vehicle parked there, they stayed there. No one is moving. Maybe just 20 or 30 or 25% they're moving in the morning, and uh, the rest they're just parking there. It's either um, for commercial shops, owners, or even for residents there in the area. So it needs. I recommend that you recommend that the government should issue a policy for parking, a parking policy. It's very important. For example, those residents can actually park until the 7 a.m. or even 8 a.m. After that, they should pay for that. We should actually put pricing ترجع الباركينج فلوس, and we need actually to push the investors and the private sector into investing within parking, and we can actually fix the problem downtown, يعني I mean the city center, by circulating the routes. Okay, so I can get, for example, شارع المطعم to be just one way, and the parallel one to be one way, and this is the only way we can get and check that. From Abdel Nasser it's one way, from Shara Jamal it's gonna be one way, and this we can call it, it's like road circulating. Okay, here we have the reference I mentioned before. You can check the it's very light and it's just few pages, I guess. It's almost 9 pages, and you can get the traffic volume characteristics here, and here you have the monthly traffic variation and the daily traffic variation. It's different from here because they have Sunday, it's like the weekend with them, and for us it's Friday and Thursday, or maybe Friday and Saturday. And here are the monthly traffic variation or fluctuations. That's what I mean by the peak hour volume. How can you get it? And the vehicle classifications: passenger cars, 2-axle trucks, 3-axle trucks, and other trucks. And also we have the sample size adjustments for periodic count. It's very, very useful, and I recommend you to go through that, but none of that, this part, it's not in your final exam. And this is very, very important, starting from here. Expansion factors from continuous counts. This is what I mentioned before, and please go through that. Here we have from 6 to 7, and here we end with 5 to 6. So we have 12 hours, each have HEF. So what is that volume? Yeah, it's actually hourly expansion factor for a rural primary road in the United States. So it's not for here, it's not usable, and it's not valid for here for actual researchers, but for you as students it's just very common, and it's just fine. Here we have the daily expansion, so here we convert it to total weekly volume, so this volume will be per week. And here we have the monthly expansion factor. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factors DEFs, and here we have 12 factors MEFs, and here we have 24 factors HEFs. So if I have hourly volume, I can multiply the specific hour I have with the HEF. For example, if I have the count from 10 to 11, so just multiply that by 17.1, you're gonna get the ADT. It's kind of accurate, but it's not. Never compare that to the actual count for the 24 hours. So since you have 17 hours, so take each hour times by HEF and then take the average for the 17 hours. This will make it more accurate, like you can cover the 17 hours. Or you can get that the 17 hours actually kind of cover 95% of the total traffic volume, and then you can just multiply that by 1.05 and you can cover that and integrate it to 100% of daily traffic count. And I have no idea whether you've taken on the weekend to take that. And here you have the examples. How can you get the AADT? We still have, thanks for listening. And I hope you put your questions and any dilemma you have. Put a comment with any topic. I'm just following you up, and we can discuss any topic, any question you have, any dilemma you think it's not clear for you. And we still have one more lecture. I'm going to deliver it tomorrow, inshallah. It's going to be for. I'm not going to put it hard for you, since I know virtual lectures, they're not even close to the actual lectures, but we still have, we must take at least the traffic management. What is traffic management and the basics of traffic management? It's very, very simple. Don't be worried about that. And traffic signal design, intersections design, they're not going to be covered in for that, but I'm going to put it for you for references, and I'm going to upload you few videos. This is just for your knowledge. It's not included for the final exam, inshallah. See you again soon, inshallah, and good luck for you. Thank you.